Have craft supplies? We'll travel. Hello everyone, I'm Father Aaron. Welcome to the Dungeon Minister Road Edition. Well, partly Road Edition. I am currently at a clergy conference for a couple of days, and there was some free time scheduled in, so I brought along some terrain crafting stuff. As it happens, I forgot the ruler. I always forget something. But I was able to get some texturing done, at least today. I am working on the keep on the Great Northern Sea. I've fallen a bit behind in my work on that. It's just gotten busy and frankly tired in the evening, so I haven't been getting a lot of crafting done. So I thought I'd try to catch up. So I didn't get any more of the floor tiles marked out, but I did get some of them textured, so that's something at least. Well, any rate, this video will include some footage from before at home, some footage that I record now, and inevitably a little bit that I do when I get home. But I thought I would do the intro here from the road because, well, because with this curtain behind me, it looks like I'm about to make demands before I release hostages or something. Anyhow, what I'm working on essentially is the floor. I want to get the floor finished, and once that is done, then I'm going to start on the walls. Why don't I just show you instead of telling you? The reason I wanted to use pegboard is that it's not, you might think, yeah, he's going to use this as the grid. You know, you've got your grid built in. No, because I don't want big holes in the floor. The reason I decided to use pegboard was that I'm going to glue foam core onto it. And I have had an experience specifically with this tower, which is an awesome design by Black Magic Craft, but which, when I built it, I had some difficulty with because it's such a large surface, really relatively large surface, to glue together using PVA, which is what I used. Hot glue, you're going to get melting, and the foam is going to have issues. Obviously, you can't use super glue. I'm sure there's something else I could have used, but I think tacky glue would have had the same problem, that because it's such a large area, the glue on the rim dries because the air can get to it through the little crack. I mean, you put the foam together, but it's not a perfect seal. The glue on the edge dries, and then it forms a seal around it, and the glue in the middle never dries. This will solve that because each inch there's going to be a little hole where air can get in, and so it ought to dry the glue evenly. I had such a problem with the tower. I reused it and it was fine, and then I put it on a shelf, and I came back later and the tower had expanded because in the bottom couple of layers the glue was still wet, and it had expanded and bubbled up, it ballooned up to the point that the horns of the tower were jammed up against the shelf above, and it was wedged in there. Fortunately, not hard enough and not long enough to do any damage to the model, but yeah, I actually ended up cutting the bottom out of the model, gouging it out, just to allow that air in and to get rid of all that wet glue. Anyhow, I wanted to avoid that, so pegboard. That's why I used it. So what I need to do now is cut some foam core to fit under the pegboard. And it looks like my cutting mat is not big enough, so I'm going to have to do some strategic, some strategic mat addition. to wonder if there's any reason to take the paper off the bottom at all. I don't think there is. I don't see any reason to take the paper off the bottom. So.
Emotional damage.
Let me just interrupt myself for a moment. I'm your roving correspondent at the clergy conference, because I gotta tell you, this foam is killing me, right? I got the foam all at the same store. One of the sheets had white paper, the others had black paper, but that wasn't really where the problem was. Half of them, one of the blacks and the one white, the paper peeled off like a dream. Just came right off the way this ready board stuff is supposed to. Just right off, okay? Left nothing behind. The other ones, on the other hand, this is after going over it with water, right? Like with a wet rag. It just looks awful. What is going on? This is what it's supposed to look like. Clean. Clean. Bought them at the same store. Same time. Oh well. I return you to the crafting.
Rolling with a ball like this also works, but I like to be careful with that because if you hit a flat spot on your foil ball, suddenly you're dragging it across the surface rather than rolling it, and it leaves a big scratch, and that doesn't look like texture at all. It just looks like somebody with a foil ball went and scratched up the surface.
So all the faff you did with those, you have to do with this now?
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, there's 4 of these. It's huge. Now, I put on the corner, if you can see that, I marked the corner. That's the inside corner. I marked the inside corner because that's how I measured out from. Measured out from the inside, that way, hopefully, the inside edges would be consistent. On the frame, I marked the outside edge. That marks the outside edge. Let's see, this is panel A. Okay, there's nothing here because there's no panel that matches up to it. Here, there's a D because panel D will go up against that. So, here it is. Glue.
that's the progress so far. Now, when I'm done with this model, it's going to come here, to this room, the parish hall at our church, where we are going to be hosting Claricon 2024. So, if you would like to see the Keep on the Northern Sea in person, register for Claricon. What are you waiting for? Oh, yeah.